Good morning, OKC, and welcome to Morning Thunder live from Denver, Colorado. It is Saturday, May 10th. I'm your host, Bobby Howard, and today we're breaking down what was another brutal defeat for the Thunder. 113-104 overtime heartbreak to the Denver Nuggets at Ball Arena. And look, this was a frustrating one. And not only has it been frustrating to think about and process, it's been a frustrating one to talk about because this is legitimately my fourth time attempting to do this podcast. I fully recorded it earlier, and Riverside knocked it out. So we're here doing our best in my friend Chase's office. I don't like this either, Sooner fans. So let's just move on. Let's talk about this game here. So the execution down the stretch, I feel like anytime you are in a situation where you lose a close game, you always, as fans, kind of want to focus on the decisions down stretch that changed that. And, for the Thunder, they could have won this game late. They were in a perfect spot, I felt like, on the road in the playoffs. Being up 3 with the ball under a minute late, that is a game you should win. That's a great position. But if you look at the totality of the game, if you look at the full thing, you start to see why this game is so frustrating, because the Thunder kind of should have, they controlled this ball game. I would say pretty much the entire way. Got off to a hot start and led for the majority of it, but just could never really put the screws to the Nuggets. They couldn't do these final things to really just kind of close them out. And because of that, they let the Nuggets hang around and they lost. And I think more than anything, more than the shot making down the stretch, SGA, all of that, it's the reason why the Thunder lost was because they couldn't execute the little things that are massive. They were 68.2% from the line. Shea missed 2 straight free throws, for example. It was very atypical. Very atypical. It does not happen. The Thunder are really good at those little details. That's what made them a great regular season team. And they just, for some reason, failed to do that in Game 3. The Nuggets started in a zone, kind of dared the Thunder to shoot from 3. And look, I've personally said that the zone isn't this end-all, be-all for the Nuggets. I don't think it's this, or anyone. I don't think it's the way to stop the Thunder, because you have to hope the Thunder miss shots. And typically, they're pretty good shooting from 3. They were awful last night. 7% from 3. That's 12% lower than average, which is just, that's brutal. That'll kill you. And then, not only that, but the good looks that they had that were a little bit better than the 3-pointers, they blew plenty of those. There are a lot of missed layups, in transition, stuff that you should make and finish, these little kind of bunny shots. And it's infuriating because I felt like, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Denver Nuggets. They executed. They deserved this win because they hung around and they executed when they needed to. But if you're a Thunder fan, you have to feel like this was, you shouldn't be down 2-1. You have to be really frustrated about this. Game 1 was a debacle. That was a game you give away. And that's why you don't give away games. That's why those sort of things are unacceptable at home, because winning on the road is tough. These Game 3s where the lower seed team finally gets to go home and gets a bit of a boost of energy from their crowd. Those are games that the home team usually wins. And because of that, you have to take care of business at home. And when you have an opportunity to really seal up a win, you got to take it. And it feels to me like the Thunder, this sort of loss just expounds how bad that Game 1 was. It doesn't make this one is one they should have won. It was not as egregious as Game 1. And yet the Thunder, here they are, despite Denver has only, I believe, led 40 minutes out of the entire series. Despite that, the Thunder are down 2-1. And it's just infuriating because I think there has been some solid basketball. I think the Thunder, for a lot of the time, have been the better basketball team. But that doesn't matter if you're not winning the game. And the Nuggets are winning games, and Oklahoma City has to dig deep and figure it out. Let's talk about those Denver Nuggets here. So it was a very weird game for them, too. Jokic was awful, for his standards. He was 0 of 10 from 3. That's really bad. Ended up 8 for 25 from the field. Stat-wise, he ended up with 20 and 16, which is great for most folks. He was awful. But thankfully, for the Nuggets, the other Nuggets stepped up massively. Aaron Gordon, once again, kind of etching his name into the Thunder Killer Hall of Fame here. 22 points, 4-6 from 3. So he's just been hot from beyond the arc. Michael Porter Jr., a man with literally one arm, pretty much. 21 points, 5 for 6 from 3, with one arm. That's, in the prior 2 games, he only had 10 points combined for 1 and 2. So Porter Jr., he has been killing it. Or he killed it last night. That was massive. And then Jamal Murray had a very solid 27 points. And, to me, this was the core question and the core belief of why you thought the Thunder would win against the Nuggets, is that the bench would outperform Denver's, and that how will Denver's bench step up? And that was one of the bigger things with Game 3 that is just a killer, is you have the Joker figured out, but you let Condiment King and Mad Hatter beat you. That's great and all, but that's, that effort on Jokic is meaningless if you can't take care of the rest of them. And, variance swings both ways. You can't say that, if Jokic had a better game, this is over. Who knows? It's all about balance, but it's a performance that Oklahoma City should have been able to outpace and outperform. And if you're a Thunder fan, you got to be really upset, especially in the non-Jokic minutes. Not only did you not capitalize and expand your lead, I believe they lost ground in every shift where Jokic left, which is just not great. It's not great at all. So, just looking at a couple performances here for the Thunder. As touched upon, SGA was not very great by any means. Only 18 points. Bad shooting night for him overall. He's got to be better. He's got to step up and, have an MVP level performance here in Game 4. Chet Holmgren, incredible. Great spark to start the game. He was on fire, really taking it to Jokic as a scorer, putting the ball on the floor, just going at it. I love the start from Chet. Didn't finish great. His 3-point shooting wasn't great. But overall, I thought he was a real difference maker here. And then, of course, Jalen Williams. And that's one of the things that really grinds my gears about this loss, is it was probably Jalen Williams' best performance as a Thunder player. 32 points, a playoff high for J-Dub. And he really took a lot of the criticism that folks have kind of been hurling his way about he can't take over a game, he can't step up and in the fourth quarter and be that closer and, or be that second star, that second ball handler when SGA is not on, and he completely silenced the critics there. He had an excellent game. Thought he was very efficient. It was exactly what you want out of J-Dub, and I feel like we kind of wasted it by blowing that one. Hartenstein was good to start, faded at the end. I don't know. The little push shot, great early, bad at in the fourth quarter. Not sure what you can do about that. Just got to make them. Aaron Wiggins off the bench. I thought he was a great spark again. Would love to see a little bit more minutes from him. He only got 13. I don't know, but I'd like to see that crank up a little bit. I think he can kind of fade out the Isaiah Joe minutes. Just give him all Aaron Wiggins, because I think his effort on the floor and all that, it seems a little bit more effective. Joe just hasn't been great from 3 at all this series, at all this postseason, really, mostly. So I don't know. It's just one of those games. Just pretty bad shooting performance for the Thunder. And Denver was crazy hot. I think they shot 52%. If you remove the 10 misses from Jokic, the rest of the Nuggets shot incredibly hot. Thunder were awful, and yet it was a winnable, tight game. And if you're the Thunder, I don't think you take too much solace from that. I think you're still pissed. I think you're still frustrated, but this thing ain't over yet. Game 4 awaits. You're down 2-1. Let's see what this team's made of. Last year, they faced a very similar situation against the Dallas Mavericks. You lose Game 3, you have a must-win Game 4, and the Thunder were able to dig deep and grit that one out. I'd like to hope this Game 4 would be a little more stress-free than that. And, I think that's the difference between this Game 4 and last Game 4. I think when you look at that Dallas series, the Thunder never really had control over the Mavericks in those losses. You had moments, but they would slip. I feel like this Thunder team has had a solid control over Denver and just, kind of fell apart down the stretch. That's something Mark needs to be better at. And if you're out here calling for Mark's head or trying to get an upgrade, just stop. He's young. He's great. He got us to this point, but he does need to develop. I'm not saying he doesn't need to develop, but, just like players can get better over time with experience, coaches can too. And Daignault needs to improve his late game execution by quite a bit. He had a really bad challenge in this one that, I feel like he really wanted back. And I don't know. I still think Mark's the guy for sure. I don't think there should be any question about a coaching change, but the real coaching change, it's going to sound so corny, has to come from within. He has to change himself and grow and adapt. And that's a change the Thunder need. That's a change everyone needs. Everyone needs to grow and get better, especially in tight minutes. But Game 4 is a 2:30 start Central Time. So not a lot of turnaround for the Nuggets and Thunder. But, Denver out here has been playing some crazy minutes. Starting 5, all hit over 40. 48 for Jamal Murray. Porter Jr. again with that shoulder's got to be feeling bad this morning. If you're Michael Porter Jr., 42 minutes is crazy. Only 2 players legitimately played off the bench. You had Zeke Naji with 3, but Peyton Watson, Russell Westbrook, really the only folks you're bringing off the bench. This is a Nuggets team that should be pretty pooped with a really short time between 3 and 4. So I think the Thunder have that advantage. But then again, it hasn't mattered much. We talked a lot about how the Nuggets were fresh off of a Game 7. And outside of Game 2 where they just got walloped, it hasn't really reared its ugly head yet. It's a must win for OKC. Win this one, you bring it back to, essentially a tie series and try to win a 3-game series. You got your split. If you win Game 4, you got your split. You got what you came for, and you just got to learn from it. You got to be better at executing. You got that's the biggest thing. Just finish them out. Finish them out. If you're not, if you can't get up big and just kind of end this thing where they can't go on a run and kind of pull some late veteran heroics on you, you got to learn how to win a tight game. And they just haven't been good at that at all this series. So yeah, it's big time. It's big time for OKC, and Shea's got to be better. Shea's got to be better in this Game 4. These are the moments that make legends, that we talk about for years to come. The best Thunder games in history usually are these moments where you're backed against the wall. You have to fight your way out. They've done that against the Grizzlies plenty of times. The Reggie Jackson game was a Game 4. As mentioned, that Maverick game from last year, that was a Game 4 as well. And Kevin Durant versus the Spurs, 2016 on Mother's Day. That was these Game 4s. This is where you show what you're made of. And for OKC, if they can't pull this series out with everything else going around the league, with all the opportunity there, it's going to sting double time if they can't pull this series out, given these 2 games that they just gave away. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what the Thunder are made of. And y'all have a great rest of your Saturday. I hope, and it looks like everything's going good on our end. So I don't think I'll have to record this a 5th time. But yeah, Jameson will be back to talk to you on Sunday. Shout out to my producer, Jacquelyn Farris, as always, for her incredible patience on everything. She helped out a ton this morning. And yeah, this has been a hell of a run, trying to get this one damn podcast done. Anyways, if you like the show, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already on YouTube, on your favorite podcast platform, and tell a friend. Let them know. The new Thunder podcast, pretty solid. We post after every game, and you want to see that. So anyways, until next time, have a good Saturday, everyone. Thunder up. Keep the faith.